Afternoon, guys. It's Sunday. Just figured I'd talk a little bit more about this $80 saw. Um, this saw actually is pretty good. I got this bar filed down to where there's only a little groove. I mean, the chain's still flopping around in there quite a little bit, but for 80 bucks, this saw is already paid for itself. The only thing I have had to do to this saw is clean the air filter a little bit with some brake clean, and I had to replace not the tensioner, but the little nylon piece that holds the tensioner in, if that makes sense. On these side tensioner Huskies, the tensioner is right in here under all this goo. Right there. And behind it, there's a little nylon or plastic or whatever the hell you want to call it washer. But I sharpen this chain up. Let me see if I can get a good view of it. Where am I at here? Right there. So you can see there's not a lot of go in that chain, but there's also not a lot of chain left. So I can't get a great big hook like I want in it. But it's cutting pretty good. My grandparents had some derecho damage, and I went and cleaned up one of their big cottonwood trees. The 9.4 came out today for the stump sections. It's cutting really well, actually. I really love that saw when I need 90 cc's and 3 foot of bar. Bar didn't quite reach all the way through, but I was able to get on the top side of the log and stand on it and get down through where my bar could reach, and then beat some wedges in the top because it was laying on the ground, and finish the cut enough to where the root ball would go from here, and then I cut the log off and the root ball fell back in its hole like that, right on the creek bed, so it'll help hold the creek back in. The tree was actually budding out, so it'll probably end up coming back, but this is what I used all day today to do the limbing and topping and cutting the limbs up into short chunks I could throw on the pile. I made a great big brush pile today. My dad was there with his 268 helping out with some of the brush and some of the smaller logs when that monster wasn't necessary. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of my $80 saw. I've had about 3 tanks of fuel in it since I bought it. What can I say? This saw freaking cuts. I'm gonna put a nicer bar and chain on it. I'm gonna keep this bar and chain for when I know I'm gonna be in the dirt or something like that, and then I'll run this worn out chain and this worn out bar, because there's a little life left in these teeth, but some of them, I mean, that tooth is gone. That was gone when I bought it, but this tooth here and that tooth there, there's not really a lot of life left in them teeth. I mean, I'm almost down to the wear markers. But if I know I'm going to be in the dirt, this is going to be a great chain for that. If I know I've got dirty wood. I mean, it's an 18, so I can cut pretty decent sized stuff with this saw. I mean, I was cutting 24-inch pieces of cottonwood with it today, and it was just ripping through it. I don't know what else to say about this saw, guys, other than some of the features. I mean, obviously you have a chain brake because it's I mean, this really isn't that old of a saw when you go to think about general saws for how long they've been around. It's got your standard old style Husky switch. That's on, that's off. This is actually the choke. There's supposed to be a handle or a little relief thing to pull on here. This one's broke, so I just get my thumbnail in there like that and pull that out, and that's actually sets your choke in your high idle. That releases your throttle, and the saw usually starts in about 5 pulls. Another neat feature that I forgot these had was a rim sprocket. They do not have a spur sprocket. That's actually really awesome. I like spur sprockets a lot. Rim sprockets, my bad. Spur sprockets, you have to replace the whole drum. They work well. My 61's got one. I've only had to replace the drum once since I bought the saw. 7 years ago, and the rim sprocket is just a better design than the spur sprocket. All the pro saws like the 9.4 and the 95 and your 372, your 572, your 562, your 550s, anything that is a pro level saw is going to have that rim sprocket, to my knowledge. The anti-vibe is fairly good in this saw. I mean, I think, yeah, it is. It's still rubber mounted, like an old 61 or something along them lines. But it's not bad. I mean, you only have 50 cc's here, so the anti-vibe is gonna be fairly good as long as it has something. Being that it's an air injection saw, I don't have to clean this filter very often, because air injection works by taking the flywheel air and throwing it into the air box, and it helps keep your air filters clean and keeping fines out. And also helps your saws run a little better. John Sir had called it turbo. They have the same feature, and Partner had a similar feature as well. Yeah, I got a nicer top cover and air filter cover for this saw as well. It's actually a 395 top cover and air filter, but they're the same thing. It's just the serial tag on the top is different right there. That decal is different than the 94s. But what can I say? That saw, that 94, is a freaking monster. Love that thing. But I think I'm gonna switch to a lightweight 36. My local dealer is actually gonna do me a solid on it and take this bar in on trade. Not a lot of dealers are gonna do that. But this is an Echo bar, and he's got some John Deere 8000s, basically the same thing as this Echo CS 8000, which is what I used to have this bar on. But I sold the 8000 because I just didn't quite like it enough. It was a reliable saw. It cut okay, but it was slow. This thing in the same wood, same bar, same chain, I bet you will be 5 seconds faster than the 8000 I had burying this bar. I wouldn't be surprised if it's almost 10 seconds faster. Yes, it's 15 more cc's, but still the difference is ridiculous. I did not have the new version of the 8000, or I guess the newest version of the 8000. I had the old gray 8000, the gray and black instead of the orange and black. So I don't know if the newer version has more balls or what, but mine just didn't have it. It ran a 24 just fine, but I needed a saw that would run a 36. And so I sold the 8000 and ended up getting this a couple months later. And this saw rips with a 3-footer on here. That's why I think I'm gonna go to a lightweight bar and put a nicer bar on this and save this for my dirt bar. That's pretty much all I got for tonight. If you guys have got anything you want me to show, if it's possible, leave it in the comments and I will do so. Let me know what you guys want to see. Comment, like, whatever you want to do. Thanks for watching. Bye.